Okay, my name is Kentaro Yamamoto, and I got into adult literacy surveys since 1987. So it's been quite some time. It's a long relationship with Irwin and also the DOL and the NCES, and I've been working with the folks for a long time. I use the numeracy skills for my work, but I am not in the numeracy expert group, but I have been attending numeracy expert group ever since it started from the all survey and also the PIAAC. So I think that's why I'm presenting. But if you could not understand what I was saying, that is not really, that's my fault, but it's not really the numeracy experts group. Yeah. Let's see. The first thing is the numeracy is very, very important. It's really permeates to every aspect of life. That's really the numeracy experts group's perspectives. It's not only just literacy life, but it's actually the many things we do in everyday life is involves the quantity assessment, and I fully agree on that part. And also that what we do, I think it's really the moving from school-based assessments to the adult assessment. It becomes not only just cognitive skills which can be taught within the classroom setting, to actually moved into how we actually use the skills in the real settings. And so then it's really the OECD start using the language of terminology of competency. And the competency requires not only just the cognitive knowledge, but actually the interaction. And also it requires the motivations and the values and how you behave within the real context. And I think that's what's really shifted from the cognitive skills we actually teach, and we actually isolate the knowledge itself, and we can teach them. And instead of that, we start focusing in how we behave within the real life. So it is used in diverse contexts and situations, and that we really get into we are living in digital world, right? It's really that we cannot really live without the contacting them. And also, in fact, actually the huge proportion of the population are comfortable taking the computer-based testing. This is true in the world, throughout the world. So like some countries it's 95%. Some countries are still in the 70%. But we are transiting to moving into actually the digital world. So this is kind of how the numeracy skills are really important. And this is the expert group led by Ido Gal. And Ido's presentations that I borrowed a large amount from. And also one of the very strong contributor since the all survey is Myrna Manley. She passed away just a few weeks ago. But she would have been, if she's well, that she would be presenting this one. But they represent the international expert group. So this is how they came up with. PIAAC Numeracy is the ability to access, use, interpret, and communicate mathematical information and ideas, to engage in and manage the mathematical demands of the range of situations in adult life. So this is no longer, it's not only the knowledge, but it's really the interaction with the environment and how you actually behave in that way. And this really is very similar to all definition of numeracy, right? So this is actually the conceptual similarity actually that guide us to use to reflect the common items between the all survey and the PIAAC survey, okay? And this is the basis. So this is actually the definition and really guide us how we actually can construct. And this in contrast to the IALS, it's a quantitative scale. It's a very strong shift took place. So that's why we are not connecting really to the quantitative scale. So quantitative literacy ended at the IALS. Okay, so it's in actuality, actually, the null used the quantitative literacy scale, but at the time that we are using international assessment, always introduced that took place in numeracy scale. Okay. So I talk about that. I'm going to use a little later. I will use the numeracy skill dependent graphs, so that you're going to use your numeracy skills to understand that table. It's a little bit complicated one, but it contains a lot of information. So this is the literacy situations, numeracy situations that we are actually going to encounter every day. Ido is from Israel, so the example that he used is from Israel.
That's a literacy situation.
Yeah.
Problem solving in a technology.
Okay, this one, so I need to close this one, right? This one is closed? Oh, close this one. Oh, I cannot close it. Yeah, that was a specific digital ICT skill. Yeah. So this is the international context. This is the machines that we're going to use. This is very similar in Israel as in the United States, and I think this is well, part of the. This is the numeracy group that thinks that really the perception of the spatial notion is a part of the numeracy skill as well. This is the part that you would be using for parking. And also on a job, you actually do numerous opportunity to measure. And the daily lives that we encounter all these things.
Two scales there. I don't push something.
And this is, I don't know what this is, but this is something to do with the, yes, regulation heights and the width of stairs. And this is a good example. And once we know the titles, we know what the sort of what's going on, right? It's the heights and the distance is the one that really the critical issues. The structure is very, very similar across the language. And very similar, this is the context of the tables by the month. And interpretation of the graphs, vital statistics. Yeah, this is a failure analysis, right? And this is the same. This is some example. So what we have, what we have are the frameworks, and also combined with the behaviors, we really need to make this framework into the kind of a structure that we can actually write the questions about. And this is how they interpreted. They made it into the three factors, what is the context, which involves everyday life, work and societal, and further learning. In order to cover the important aspects of the numeric behaviors, we need to make sure that these important factors are well represented. So that's why we do this. Response and process is a type of the actions that we do, behaviors. Identify, locate, or access, act upon, and interpret and evaluate. These are the important, the lists that they are going to actually control the writing of items. You know, what they do with the numerate the information. Mathematical content and information and ideas. There's sort of 3 factors and 3 or 4 lists of the factors inside. So this is what we divided into. The framework goals, the framework was divided into 3 factors. This got really the context and the response and mathematical and the content. And the context was really, we could not really determine its proportions very well a priori. But we actually wanted to have represent a fairly good spread. What we have is at the fields test that we came up with the CBA pool on this one. CBA stands for the computer-based assessment. So this resembled the framework goals are really developed by the expert groups, their evaluation of with the numerate behavior, importance of numerate behavior, or the frequency of. And additional constraints on top of these item constraints, we driven from the frameworks. Because of this is the survey, we really need to think about that's a construct coverage, what's really the framework did, and also the psychometrics constraints that really the Matthias and I demands on how the international survey should, certain characteristics they should have. For example, like how wide the range of the effective measurement and also the amount of information and the accuracy that we need to have in order to make a distinction between the performance of the groups. And also the assessment design, which actually would produce the equivalent inferences between the 2 modes. So the assessment design link is the constraints comes from the link to the IALS and all, link between CBA and PBA mode, the 2 modes, and the adaptive design. Okay. So this is the in overall that we came up with this is the final the item distribution. The 30 items are linking to the all. 22 items are new. For this is a computer-based one. I will give you the paper-based a little bit later. So 52 items altogether. This is the item pool that we are going to select the set of questions appropriate for the respondent's skills. Okay. And this is the design that we used. So the test that, 11 and 9 and 11, so 20 items on this one. So 23 altogether for the numeracy. So the test stage 1 has 3 testlets depending on the skills. Stage 2 has 4 testlets. So if you performed really high on after we gave testlet 1, if someone responded very high, then they may go to the testlet 4 on the second testlet, stage 2. Okay. So each testlet has focused on the different range of ability distributions. So stage 1, test 1 is focused on more of a lower skill range, this one. This is tested 2, and this is tested 3, the stage 1. The similar things is true for the stage 2. It's a little bit more even further divided. When they're combined together, easiest combination, stage 1, tested 1, stage 2, tested 1, have this kind of information we can have. This portion is the one that we have increased information for the population below here, about 200 or so. And this is the most difficult tested combination. Stage 1 tested 3, and the stage 2 tested 4. Okay, so all other combinations are in between on this. So compared to this lowest one, this most difficult one has a huge amount of information in a much higher proficiency level region. This notion is very similar for the literacy. So you can actually transfer this understanding to directly to the literacy domain as well. Okay. So paper-based instrument is very similar. So follow the same notion of operationalizing framework to the 3 factors of characteristics into to produce this final set of items. These are 24 items altogether, 19 linking to the all numeracy scales, and the 5 completely new one. So this is this is not the adaptive one, but it's actually the core items. How core item is really focusing very low range of the abilities. Depending on if you remember the path, after the core questions are given on the paper and pencil, if they did not perform very well, they went straight to the literacy component, right? They did not go through any paper surveys. This is the reason. So we are focusing on, it's very, very poor in the core items. It's very here. So then it's really below the 150. Then it's really that we let them go pass through we only collected on the literacy component information. Okay. This is actually really trying to kind of the gross level of adaptation, right? So it's really with the adult population, it's really not very kind to make them go through the question that is too difficult for them, right? So that's one of the kind of growth level of adaptation that we have introduced in for the international adult literacy IALS. So this is the testing information altogether. It's quite good. It's really this is a single form for the paper and pencil instrument. It's slightly lower than the computer-based, but it has a wide range of the effective assessment range. Okay, now this is the one something that's all the information. What I said is contained in this graph. So that's what the numeracy skill is for. So this portion and this height is directly corresponding to the number of items. Okay, so there are 32 linking items altogether, combined computer-based or paper-based. This portion, so that they are yellow, right? And these 2 items only appeared in the paper-based. 13 items here only appeared in computer-based. 17 items appeared both in paper-based and computer-based. These items combined together with these items, 3 items, establish a comparable scale between the paper-based assessment and the computer-based assessment. Okay, and these 32 items establish the comparability to all numeracy scale, right? So we can do the trend assessment on the numeracy results from the all results to the PIAAC. Okay. And altogether 56 items. So this has a quite very complex actually information is there. It's really, and also 56 is not the sum of 24 and 52 because there's these overlaps. So it's not very simple table. There's a lot of stories. There's a lot of things built in. But this is a similar picture is true for the literacy items, and that is that's how we actually establish the trend scale, and also across the mode. And these item parameters are largely consistent across the all countries. Okay, so there are some items that really the very small number of items are unique to a country for whatever the reasons, sometimes due to the item translation or item representation, or might be actually the because of the certain linguistic characteristics. Other than that, it's really for example, numeracy is very, very tiny portion. The literacy is a little bit more, right? But that establishes across the country comparability. So what we talk about the PIAAC results is directly comparable with the international results. Okay. Let's see, what do I have? Well, these are the example of the PIAAC numeracy items. Like this, something question about the temperature. And using a map with distance or time. The ingredients. So it resembles actually the real. It's kind of cleaned up, but it's really still really the real information you would encounter every day. This is the following few example is based on the same context. You can ask several questions.